Hello guys, I'm McBride, and in this After Effects tutorial, we will recreate this product slider in After Effects without using any plugins. This product slide is very easy to create, and if you are new to After Effects, simply follow the step-by-step guides in this video and get it done. So here we are in After Effects. We will first go ahead and design the slider, after which we will animate all the components. So let's go ahead and create a new composition with a dimension of 1920 by 1080 and a duration of 10 seconds. You can change the comp name to Orange and let's click OK. Let's go ahead and create a new solid by right clicking here, New Solid. Let's name it BG for background, same dimension, and click OK. Let's head into Effects and Presets to your right and look for Gradient Ramp. Drag and drop it onto the solid. And let's head into Effect Controls and add our start and end color. So for the start color, I'll click on the palette and add orange. And for the end color, I'll add a bright yellow. For the ramp shape, let's change it to radial. And let's go ahead and swap the colors. Let's select the end of ramp and bring it down a little bit and increase the ramp scatter to say 100. Now let's head into our project and import our assets. Select all, click on import. I've added a link to the assets in the description of this video, so you can download them and follow with the tutorial. So let's go ahead and drop our assets on the background. I'll begin by bringing in a bottle. Click and drag it onto our timeline. Press S for the scale and let's reduce the scale to say 10. And let's bring in the orange as well, orange 1. I'm bringing in orange 1. Press S for scale once again. And let's reduce it to say 17. Let's go down further to say 15. Place it somewhere here. And let's ensure that our bottle is on top of orange 1. Press R for rotation. And let's rotate it to our left. Say 18 degrees. Use the move tool to move it to our right a bit. Now let's bring in orange 2. Drag and drop it into our timeline. Hit S for scale. Bring it down to say 10. And let's use the move tool to move it up here. Somewhere here. Let's scale it down further to say 8. Hit R for rotation. Rotate it to our right. And let's bring in orange 3, the third one. Hit S for scale. bring it down to a size of say 30. And let's drag it, move it to our bottom left corner like this. Let's make some further adjustments to orange 3. Let's increase the scale from 30 to say 35. Move it to our right a bit and a little bit downward. Let's select orange 2. Move it up a little bit. And orange 1. Let's increase the scale from 15 to say 20. And right click and go to transform. And let's flip horizontal. And move it further to our right. Like this. Now let's bring in our leaves. Select leaf 1. Drag and drop it onto the timeline. Let's move this to our bottom right corner. Hit R for rotation. And let's rotate it this way to say -50. Move it further to our right as if it's getting out of the stage. Now let's make further adjustments to our bottle by changing the size. So hit S for scale and let's change it from 10 to 11. Use the move tool to move it up a little bit like this and select orange 1. Let's move that to our right a bit and reduce the scale of the orange from 20 to say 18. Move it further to your right like this. And let's hit T for type tool or select the type tool up here. And let's add our text. For the text, I'm using Bebes Noi with a font color of white. And the font size, I'll leave it at say 400 for now. And I'll type in my text. I'll first head into paragraph and make sure it's aligned to left. And then I type. We can head into character and now further increase the size from 400 to say 800. And let's use the move tool to place it somewhere here like this. And make sure your font layer or your text layer is just on top of orange 1 and beneath the bottle. So now let's go ahead and add leaf 2. So drag and drop. Hit R for rotation. And let's rotate it this way to our left. Use the move tool and place it somewhere here. Then let's hit S for scale to reduce it to say 60. Now I'm going to select the bottle and move it to our right a bit like this. And move our orange further to our right a little bit as well. Now select the orange up here. come to the layers panel and make sure it is behind our text. Now head into effects and presets and search for blur, Gaussian blur. Drag and drop it on orange 2 or orange 3 and increase the blurriness to say 30. Let's increase it further to say 50. And do the same for the leaf here. That's leaf 1. Increase the blurriness to 30. And likewise for orange 2. For that, we increase the blurriness to say 20. And orange 1, we'll give it a blurriness of say 10. Since this orange is nearer to us, let me increase the blurriness. So select it, go into the effect controls and increase it from 50 to say 60. So let's add a bit of perspective to our bottle by adding a drop shadow. So you can select the bottle layer, right click, go into layer styles and select drop shadow. Now under the bottle layer, we drop down the drop shadow menu, go into the color and add a tint of brown, or you can add the color code 9F4903. Further increase the size of the drop shadow from the 5 to say 300. And the distance, reduce it from the 5 to 0. Now let's go ahead and do the same thing for our text. Select the text layer, right click, layer styles, drop shadow. Give it the same color. Reduce the distance to 0 and increase the size to say 100. Now let's go ahead and decrease the opacity from 75 to say 50. Now let's go ahead and pre-compose our bottle. So right click on the bottle layer, select pre-compose, change the name to bottle. Make sure leave all attributes in orange is selected and click OK. Now let's go ahead and animate our various objects. Let's begin with the background. Select the background layer, hit P for position, move your playhead in time to 4 seconds, click on the stopwatch, bring your playhead back to say 2 seconds, and let's click and drag the background downwards out of the entire frame. I'm going to reduce the size of the stage a bit to say 25. And let's repeat the process for the other objects. Now we select all the keyframes and press F9 to easy ease them, or right click, go to keyframe assistant, select easy ease. Now we move into the graph editor, right click and make sure edit speed graph is ticked, and we do something like this. Let's get out of the graph editor, and when we play back, we should have something like this. And let's animate the text as well. Select the text layer, bring the playhead to 4 seconds, P for position, go back in 2 seconds, click and drag your text out of the frame through your left, keyframe, easy ease, go into the graph editor, and we do something like this. So let's do a little adjustment about the timing. Select all layers above the background layer, and let's move it a few frames forward. Now select the text layer alone and move it a few frames forward as well. Now let's add a little rotation animation to our bottle layer. So select the bottle layer, hit U for the keyframes. Let's place the playhead on the last keyframe. Now hit R for rotation and hit a stopwatch to give you another keyframe. Come back about 2 seconds and let's change the angle from -18 to say +10. Select both keyframes to easy ease. And let's replay our animation. And let's select the type tool and add our subtext. I'm choosing a font style of Poppins regular and a font size of 50 with the font color white. And let's use the move tool to reposition it. Let's move our playhead to somewhere 5 seconds and hit P for position and hit the stopwatch to add a keyframe. Move back 2 seconds and let's change the position of our text upward like this. Select both keyframes and hit F9 to easy ease. And let's enter the graph editor and change the speed graph to something like this. Still with our subtext selected, you hit T for opacity. Add a keyframe, change the opacity from 100 to 0. Move forward 2 seconds and change the opacity to 100. Now let's go into our layers panel and reposition the text so that it comes from behind the bottle. So we place it beneath the bottle. Now let's double click on the bottle layer to enter its composition. Let's go to View and select Show Rulers. Let's resize our bottle to fit our screen and click and drag a guide from the vertical rule on your left so that it snaps to the left of the bottle, and then click and drag another guide to snap to the right of your bottle. Now let's make sure whilst we are doing this, snapping up here is ticked. So we can zoom in to make sure our guide is actually touching the side of the bottle, and then come back into our layers panel and create a new shape layer. Pick the rectangle tool. Let's make sure we have a fill and no stroke. Now let's draw a rectangle in between the two guides just to represent a label. Now we can click away, come back to our projects panel and select our label asset. Drag and drop it into our timeline. Hit S for scale. And then let's resize it. Let's use the move tool to move it this way. And let's resize it further. So we have the label or the logo in the middle like this. And let's select our label once again. Hit P for position. Bring our playhead to the 2-second mark. And hit the stopwatch to create a keyframe. And let's go forward in time to say 5 seconds. And click and drag our label to our left so the other logo appears. Now let's place our label layer beneath our shape layer. Go into the track matte options and look for Alpha Matte Shape Layer 1. Right click the label layer. Go into blending mode and let's select multiply. Let's play back our animation. Now let's go ahead and add a little bounce to the label movement. I have an expression which I'm going to copy and paste in the position. And I've left a copy of it in a notepad form in the description of this video. So here's the expression. So Control C to copy the entire thing. Then I hold down Alt, go into the position, click on the stopwatch, and where we have the expression transform position here, we paste our expression. Now let's play back our animation and look out for the bounce. Now let's head back to the orange comp and view the entire animation. Lastly, let's create a duplicate of the orange comp. Select the orange comp in your project panel. Go to Window. Look for True Comp Duplicator. And let's make just one copy. Let's create a new composition. We can name this main. With a time of say 15 seconds. Click OK. Now let's drop our orange comp in there and double click on the second one to open it. Bring the playhead a bit forward. Select the background layer. Go to its effect controls and let's make changes to the start and end color. I'm going to choose a light gray for the start and a very dark gray for the end color. I'm also going to change the main text to add some variety. Now let's select the text layer and hit U to show the keyframes and bring our playhead to the beginning. Now let's use the move tool to click and drag our text completely out of the frame like this, and delete the previous starting keyframe, and let's maintain the new one that has been created. Now before we head back to our main comp, let's rename this one. So right click, go to composition settings and change it from orange to dark. Now let's head into the main comp and look for a dark composition, drag and drop it on top of the orange. Move it forward in time so that it starts from the 7-second mark. And now let's go ahead and play back our animation. And with that, we've come to the end of another tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already. Also leave a comment in the comment section and I'll try my best to respond. And till we meet in my next video, choose